would be to just put in your first degree rather than just your professional education. Now, if you have the option to select others, select other. But like I said, I would suggest that you put in your primary, so your first degree, which is what you have in addition to your professional certification. Trust me, a lot of the time, recruiters just go through to your CV first, not even all of this.
All right. Thank you very much.
All right. Okay, thank you, Yanolua. Okay, thank you. You've gone on mute. Babajide, I'd just like to ask a question on behalf of those who are on this call.
Yeah.
What's your opinion about putting your picture on your CV?
Yes.
Does it work for you? Does it work against you?
So it's a really good question, and I've had people ask me that question as well in the past. In all honesty, you shouldn't have a reason to put your CV on your CV. There is,
right.
There's what they call unconscious bias. People will make decisions based on seeing you just at first, and that should not even be that should not be the basis for you to be. That should not be the basis for you securing the job, or you securing an interview, or you not securing an interview. Right?
Okay.
Now, in some countries, it is normal for them to include their pictures. I've seen CVs from Turkey before. I've seen from United Arab Emirates before, and these guys include their pictures on their CV, right? But you also want to be, as an organization, if an organization is asking you to include your, the picture on your CV, I mean, look, I know that it's difficult to get jobs sometimes in Nigeria, but organizations like that are probably not even the right organizations to join, because some of them will make decisions based on just seeing you.
Based on the way you look.
Exactly.
So sometimes those decisions can actually be in your favor, and sometimes it's not.
No, you're absolutely right. Sometimes can be in your favor and sometimes it's not, but it is not, if you ask me, it's not the ideal way any organization should recruit anyone. But, I'm also not going to shy away from the fact that some organizations will probably be used as a go-to option, right? But that shouldn't, that is where HR comes into play. HR should be helping those organizations, shape their culture, shape their approach, take away bias from selection processes. But if that is not the case, that is very unfortunate. But, you putting your picture in your CV, I would not advise you do that. But
excellent.
Sometimes people ask you to do that.
All right, we could go on and on, Babajide. I have tons of questions in the chat box, but what we're doing is we're going to collate the questions. I still have some questions around CV, writing, interview. Somebody wanted to know, I'll just take this very quickly, answering questions at interviews. So where the panel or maybe the interviewer is digging into the details of what you had done, and maybe all along you had worked in a group and you never really handled any task in isolation. So how do you deal with difficult questions when you're at an interview?
So this is why it's good for you to prepare as many times as possible with different people, put together questions that you're likely to get asked, even the ones that you don't have an answer to. Find an answer to it. Now, one of the things that people struggle with, someone asked me yesterday, actually, no, it was this morning, because I had a meeting this morning, and someone asked me the question that, what are the key skills that employers look out for? And I say to them that, look, there are really, really key things for you to bear in mind if you are an undergraduate or a recent graduate. Communication skills is very important. Technical skills is very important. Your teamwork skills is very important. Leadership skills is very important. Now, on that point on leadership, which is where a lot of people struggle with, and they say, I've never led a team before. How am I supposed to have a leadership experience? Leadership is not just by position. Leadership is you taking the lead. It's how proactive you are in certain situation, right? So I can be part of a team, and I'm not the team lead, right? But I can give a suggestion about something that I think we should do that gets us closer to success on that particular project, right? Me taking that initiative, is me being proactive. There are times when I do some things before the team lead asks me to do it, I've already delivered on those things. That is me being proactive, right? And that is me taking the leadership, that's me taking the lead on a certain topic within that group. So it's you knowing all of those things to, is you finding a way to connect those dots to using, telling your story that becomes very important. But you get that more from how much you spend talking to people about your experience, doing your dry runs, going over and over before the interview day. And
absolutely.
You know what?
And that speaks to preparation, right?
There are example answers online, example questions online. This is not you cheating. This is you using those things as a guide to prepare you for those interviews.
Absolutely, absolutely. Thank you so much, Babajide. We could go on and on, but time is not on our side. So without further ado, we have a second session, and I am going to introduce this gentleman very shortly. He is the founder, CEO of Intense Digital Media by the name Leye Makanjuola. Leye Makanjuola is very passionate about growing businesses by creating experiences that people love through strategy. He uses innovation, creativity, and technology to achieve this. He laid this foundation in marketing. He started his foundation in marketing communication from Pan-Atlantic University, and also earned a marketing and business certification, from University of Pennsylvania, Wharton. Leye has consulted for brands like Leadway Assurance, Chi, Total Nigeria, AXA Mansard, MultiChoice Nigeria, and was a recipient of the YTech 100 Award in recognition of his contribution to the Nigerian technology space. And today we are very, very privileged to have joining us Leye Makanjuola. Leye Makanjuola is going to be taking us on the second session, after which I hopefully will be able to take some of our questions. If we're unable to treat all the questions today, we will definitely mail them. What we're going to do is we'll collate all the questions, and our facilitators are going to provide answers to all of them, and these will be mailed back to us. If you're not sure we have your email address, please feel free to drop your email address in the chat box. This will be collated, and I assure you that all the responses will be shipped out to you by email. Ladies and gentlemen, please drop some fire in the chat box for Leye Makanjuola. A round of applause for him, some claps, some emojis in the chat box. Leye, the floor is yours.
Okay, hello everyone. Can you guys see me? Can everyone see me?
Yes, we can see you.
Now we can, yes.
We
Okay,
can see
good.
and hear you.
All right, good to know. Like Tolat said, my name is Leye. I'm the CEO of Intense. We're a marketing and technology agency, and I'm here to talk about digital skills. But before I go ahead, because I don't know, the profiles of the people listening, as I'm speaking, it will be nice if you just like drop comments on, what I'm saying. For example, how much do you know about digital skills? What are you looking to get out of this? What are you looking to learn? And do you have any questions ahead of time? But I'm guessing that the people here are mostly, recent graduates or people that are looking for jobs, and you need to write your CV properly so that you can. You need to write your CV properly so that you can be more eligible for jobs, and you probably also need digital skills so that you will stand out when recruiters are recruiting. So that being said, I'll just go ahead and share my screen. 1 second. Okay. Can you all see my screen? Tola, can you help me out? I want to ask a question.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Thank you very much. Okay. So it says all the knowledge you will ever need is on the internet. I mean, this is 2020. I still find it very baffling that people struggle to find answers to questions, or they want to learn something and they're looking for someone to teach them. And meanwhile, people have been leveraging on the power of the internet for decades now. I, for example, I'm probably 100% self-taught on digital skills, and these were things that I stumbled on my own, just searching the internet, Google, social media, and it's these things that I have learned that have helped me set up this company that I run now. we've been around for almost 6 years, and we've had over 100 clients locally and internationally, and everything that we are offering is actually available free on the internet. So, I mean, think about, me being an employer label, using knowledge that is readily available. So think about how easy it is, or how easy it will be for you to become an employee, by learning stuff on the internet. So I guess I'll try and run you through how you can do that, and the type of skills that. Okay.
Leye, please unmute yourself. Okay.
Yeah, I just did that. Okay, so this is basically the content of my presentation. Number one, what are digital skills, and how does digital work, and why businesses need digital skills? Where can you learn these skills and prepare yourself for employment with digital skills? Okay, so digital skills are a range of abilities to use digital devices, tools, and networks to create and share digital content, communicate and collaborate, and solve problems. You see that I sort of like highlighted solve problems. It's in orange. At the end of the day, people are looking for, individuals that can solve problems or that can add value. If you want to be employed, if you're looking for a job, you need to be able to add value to your employer or to the company that you want to work in. And, you need to think about it like, what do I have to offer that is special or that is different, or that, most people at that, company that I'm trying to work at, do not have. And the reason why digital skills, are in demand right now is because they are hardly taught in schools. They are hardly in any Nigerian or even international syllabus. Okay, so it's people that have taken out time from their busy schedules to learn on their own, practice on their own, and gain some experience on their own that usually have these skills. So when you are one out of 1 million people that has a particular skill, you would be in high demand, and you will also you will not be easily dispensable. So for example, you go to school, back in the day, our parents would say, oh, you must be a lawyer, doctor, engineer. I think those were the most common careers at the time. But these days, there are a lot of doctors that don't have jobs. And the reason is because there are way too many doctors than there are hospitals. Same thing lawyers, same thing engineers, right? But when it comes to like digital skills, there's way less, or there are way less people with digital skills than than are needed. So imagine this, before, maybe 10 years before now, or 20 years ago, there was no Facebook. The internet was not even really a thing. But now every business requires people that are social media savvy, can use the internet properly, have certain skills that can assist the company in creating awareness, making them look the part. So every company is looking for these people. Meanwhile, there's no formal education for digital skills. So it just means that the numbers will be low. So how do you leverage on this opportunity? These are examples of digital skills. We have content marketing, which is it's probably one of the easiest or most accessible digital skills, where you do not even need like any technical knowledge. It's basically the knowledge of creating content for a business or for a person, and that will allow that business be found by their potential customers. And then you have search engine optimization, which is pretty technical, which means how do you optimize a website so that when people search for, you know, that company's services, they are, you know, probably on the first page of the Google search engine. So there are actually people that's what they are dedicated to. That's their career. Just making sure that websites are, you know, because you have like 10 million websites that sell phones. How do you ensure that, you know, your website is, you know, one of the first 10 or 15 on the first page of Google when people search? That is it's a skill that is highly in demand because businesses are struggling for attention. And if I tell you that, you know, I can get your website on the first page of Google in 6 months, and then when I get your your business on the first page of Google, you start to get like 1,000, 10,000 inquiries a month. You definitely listen to me than me just saying, oh, I went to OAU and, you know, I graduated with a first class in engineering. These days, and I'm speaking from, you know, experience as an employer, people want to know what you can do, you know, not necessarily what you know. And, you know, trying to take it from where Jide stopped. For me, if I'm looking at your CV, there are certain people that put like things that they've done, you know, while they were at a former place or even while they were, you know, building their skills. If you tell me, oh, I worked on a certain website and I was able to get it from page 5 to page 1 in 3 months, that will catch my attention. Do you understand? And these are things that they are not readily available, which also means that a lot of times you can't even determine how much you earn, you know, because you have bargaining power. People are looking for your skills. You have UI and UX design. UI means user interface, and UX means user experience. So these are the people that design the interfaces that you come across on the internet. So for example, they design websites, they design mobile applications, and they also design the experience, which means, you know, how does the mobile app behave when you click a button, or how does the website behave when you fill a form, you know, where does it take you to? So these are basically skills that have come up as a virtue of the internet evolving and as a virtue of user experiences moving from physical locations to virtual. So for example, this Zoom call that we're having now is something that was not even popular in Nigeria last year, but now it's mainstream and everybody just needs to get on board. If you didn't know how to use Zoom before, it's not necessarily a digital skill, but then it's something that you just need to know how to do. And you know, the world will continue to evolve this way just because it's just more efficient. It's just more, it's easier, okay? You have things like programming. So programming is basically, you know, skill of building things. So it's like knowing how to build a house, or knowing how to build a warehouse where you can store things, or, you know, knowing how to build a gen that can power your house. So programming is basically building applications, building digital applications. So your Uber app, for example, a bunch of people built that in collaboration with the UI UX designers. You know, they build, you know, the functions of how does it work, how do you integrate, you know, Google Maps into it so that you can find the drivers around you, you know. And data analytics is basically the science of gathering data or gathering information and, you know, being able to analyze it. And data is a very, very important part in making business decisions. So for example, if I own a business and maybe a retail business like a supermarket, and I have 10,000 people visiting my supermarket every month, I might want to know, you know, what product sells the most. I might want to know, you know, what percentage of my customers are men or women, what's their age, how much do they spend every month, this way, you know, I will be able to tailor my services, my products, and my experience to the people that shop at my store. So if people, you know, like cornflakes instead of Golden Morn, I'll reduce my the amount of Golden Morn I purchase, you know, and that way I get, you know, I don't get to tie up a lot of money buying Golden Morn because it's not selling. Do you understand? So somebody that does data and analytics, you know, can, you know, come into your organization and show you things that you were not able to see previously that will help you optimize your business. Although their data analytics and data science is a very wide area, but then so I'm sure some of you must have heard of something called Google Analytics, which is basically something that you use to analyze. You used to analyze website traffic. Let me just quickly look through the content. I mean the chat. Okay. Don't photographing your CV. Okay, no problem. So no questions yet. Network and information security is basically the science of protecting computers and the information that is shared across the internet and across local networks. While cloud computing is, you know, basically how do you store information virtually, you know, I mean, yeah, familiar with phones having storage space, maybe 64 gig, 128 gig. That's the maximum size that you can store data on your phone. But then when you've taken 2,500 pictures at your last, you know, trip to the beach, your phone is going to be full soon, and you will need like extra storage, and that's where the cloud comes in. And there are people that specialize in this area where, you know, they optimize people's usage of cloud storage. So examples of cloud services are like Amazon, Google Drive. So there are people that specialize in, you know, onboarding companies and saying, look, I can help you optimize all your data. I know you have so much data. Pay me, I'll set you up on, you know, Google Drive or on Microsoft Dynamics or on Amazon AWS, so that, you know, you can store your information, and then you can also get it anywhere that you are in the world as long as you have internet access. I'm not sure how many people here have heard about artificial intelligence. People are always saying artificial intelligence, artificial intelligence. What is artificial intelligence? It's basically, you know, human beings trying to create rules and like sequences that mimic human behavior, so that, you know, you do not always need a human being to do something for you. So it's basically like creating other humans, you know, but not in the sense of flesh, body, and bone. So for example, the easiest or the simplest example of artificial intelligence that I can give you is a chatbot. You must have visited some websites before where, you know, there's a chatbot and it's asking you questions, or you are asking it questions and it's answering you, but then there's actually no human being behind it. It's because certain human beings have actually been able to anticipate questions that people would ask, and they've already pre-programmed the answers there, you know, for several answers. And the benefit of this kind of solution is that I could have 10,000 people on my website at the same time asking questions, and the chatbot will answer them, you know, real time. But then if you did need to hire 10,000 people to do your customer service, you know, it would run you out of business. So artificial intelligence is probably even going to take more jobs than it will create. So if you had this skill, you know, you will be one of the many few that are in demand at that time. Artificial intelligence and machine learning are very close to each other. You know, they're very closely related, and it's basically about, you know, machines and technology trying to behave like human beings so that you do not need human beings physically present, you know, at a workplace or physically carrying out tasks. Okay. Virtual and augmented reality. Virtual reality, I'm not sure if anybody has seen, you know, some videos of people with goggles on. Basically, it's like a different environment that is not, you know, your real life environment. It's mostly used for gaming and you know, business experiences. So, for example, I might want to show you something. Maybe you come to my office and I want to show you in real estate, for example. I want to show you what my estate will look like because I'm a real estate developer. I can give you VR goggles, virtual reality goggles, for you to wear so that you can actually envision what it will be like when the construction that we're doing, when it's completed. You know, you can actually walk through the house that doesn't really exist. You can walk through there and, you know, give you a tour. So as the name implies, it's virtual reality. It's not real reality, but it can help you envision reality, you know, and, you know, have a good idea of what it's like. But right now, it's very, very, very popular in the gaming world. If any of you play games, these are not all the digital skills that are available, and that's why I was trying to understand what our understanding of digital skills are. Of course, there's social media, like even graphic design is a digital skill. If you can, you know, design graphics, and you know, if you know how to manage social media pages, you know how to manage social media communities, you can get a job in most companies today. I mean, the only thing about that skill is that, you know, it's very easy to, well, it's not that easy to acquire, to be honest, but then it's a lot of people are learning that skill. So it's also becoming a little saturated. But, you know, that's a skill, that's a digital skill as well. And one thing for sure, if you've not heard, companies like Google and Facebook have said that they do not require their employees to have a university education anymore, because, you know, why do they really need a university education when the skills that they require can be learned at home by somebody that never went to school, and that person is better than the university graduate. So I think that we all really need to realize how important you know, digital skills are, and, you know, where the world is going. For me personally, I also do not really care if you went to school or not. I just want to know if you can do the job. I want to know if you have skills that nobody has. I want to know if you know, you're able to offer value to clients. I want to know if you can solve problems. And if you pick up any of these skills here, I can guarantee you that in as little as 6 months, you're either able to get a job, or you're actually able to start to offer services on your own and become self-employed. Okay. One quick second. Let me just look through the chats. Does a data analyst have to know how to code? And what are the software for data analytics one can get doing? No, data analysts don't need to learn how to code. It's basically just querying the data software. So, for example, there's Oracle. There's Oracle that you can use for data analytics, but definitely you don't need to learn how to code. As an accountant, how can cloud computing help one put one on an edge in the accounting profession, and how can one advance in it in relation to accounting career? Well, I'm not very sure about that, but, you know, in my office, we use a tool called Sage. So, I mean, instead of using Excel and some other things to do your accounting, Sage is an accounting software that is available on the cloud. So if I get up today and I go to London tomorrow, I only need to log into my Sage, and all my information, all the accounts, invoices are available, you know. But I'm not sure how learning cloud computing will help you as an accountant in that, in your line. But I can definitely tell you that if you did learn it and you understood it and you offered to use your skills to help your organization, it will definitely put you in a better position where if they were saying, oh, let's cut some staff, they'll probably not want to cut you because you know something that nobody, that nobody knows. Do you understand? What are the digital skills the communication graduate can leverage on, especially one who works in the public sector? Oh yeah, so for communication, which is the industry that I'm in, content marketing is something that you should look at. If you could do some design as well, that will help you. And also just something that I didn't mention, ads, advertising, social media advertising, digital advertising using platforms like Google would help you. If you work in any public sector at all, as a communications graduate, you should probably work in maybe the public relations department or the marketing department. Now you know how to run ads and you know how to create content, because every business needs a website that shows what they do to the public. So you might probably be the person managing this website. You might be the one managing your organization's communication to the public. So if you have SEO skills, search engine optimization skills, that means you're able to position your company as one of the top businesses in your field, or even one of the top parastatals in the country. On the first page, it will help. You're also helping them, publish social media content. You're also helping them run adverts that your stakeholders would see. Your ministry or your department will definitely see you as very valuable, and you'll be adding value that is quantifiable to your department.
Thank you, Leye. Just before you go on, I just wanted to point out a few things. So someone is asking that, what if someone is asking that, okay, as a fresh graduate, and I am interested in going into digital marketing, where do you suggest I start from? What's the first thing I do? Should I go for Google Ads? Should I learn programmatic buying? Where do I start from? Because I want to draw a roadmap. So where do I start from?
Okay, so digital marketing is very wide. At the end of the day, I feel like you should lean towards your strengths. Okay, there are some areas of digital marketing that are more technical, and there are some that are more like reasoning and verbal and communication. So content marketing is more, how well can I speak? How well can I put together my thoughts? How well can I communicate my thoughts so that people can understand? How persuasive am I? How convincing am I? How well can I understand my target audience? It's more of an interpersonal skills thing. So if that's your strength, move towards content marketing. But if you're more of a technical person, numbers, abstract things like algebra, you should look at code. You should look at programming, because at the end of the day, even in digital marketing, like there's the technical aspect, especially in developing applications that help people market their. So for example, any business now, after a while when they launch, they'll be like, okay, we also have an app. We've also launched our app. It's on the Google Store and on the Play Store. On the Apple Store and on the Play Store. It's the programmers that build the app. And funny enough, they are more in demand than content, because content is readily available, if you studied it. But for the programmers, it's way more abstract, and it takes way more time to to reach intermediate level skills there. So it just depends. Like I want to advise you to try and take the whole of digital, but I think what's more important is to understand how digital works, which I sort of skipped. I'm not sure if I'll have the time, but I think it's very important to address that again. So let me explain how the internet works. So especially when it comes to advertising, right? Um, so you see the same way you see before now, like 20 years ago, when you would see adverts on billboards, or you watch TV and there's an ad on TV, or you switch on the radio and there's an ad, a jingle. It's the same way the internet works. So the internet was started to share information. That was the sole purpose of, the internet. And basically, the internet is, what you see on the internet is information on several people's computers around the world, so it's just linked. Once you connect it to the internet, that information that is on your computer or on one server somewhere is shown to the rest of the world, right? So
Yes.
the difference between, the real world and the internet is just the fact that it's not physical, you can't touch it. But the advantages of the internet are that, there are no barriers, in the sense that
Right.
you could have a business in Germany and I could just open your website and see everything there. So, I can make a purchase decision without coming to your, to your office. You get, but
Yeah.
before, if I wanted to like do some window shopping, I'll have to drive to your shop, look at the stuff you have, price them. But with the internet, I can just, go to Google or type in your website address, and I'll see everything you have before I even call you. I've seen your price, I've seen your management, I've seen the work that you've done, and I can do this for several businesses in one day without even leaving my desk. So basically, the internet is like, it's like an area. Do you understand? Just imagine that it's Nigeria, but on the internet, and then it's a place where if you have a business, your website is it's like your shop, it's like your office, and then you use it to display, your wares, or your experience. So so now, when there are now millions and billions of businesses online, there's a battle for attention, and that's where all these things come in, all these skills, where everybody's struggling to put their services or their products in front of the right people so that they can see them and buy them, and sometimes it's not even just about commerce. It could just be about, oh, I want my voice to be heard. I could be a politician. I want people to hear my voice. I want people to hear my manifesto. I want them to know, what I'm trying to offer. So it's really a battle for attention, and these skills, individually or combined, would help individuals, businesses, and organizations, get the attention of their prospects, or their target audiences. Did I miss the question that I was supposed to answer? I think I already answered it.
Yes,
Okay.
you did. So I'd like to, there's an interesting twist that I have observed between your presentation as a digital marketing expert and Babajide's session, which is more, tilted towards HR and CV writing. It would appear that the general labor markets focuses on certifications, first degree, second degree, third degree. Nigerians, we like to go to school. But it's looking like in the digital space, there's less emphasis on university certification. It's more of what problems can you solve? So my question to you is, do you think this, for the young people out here who are fresh graduates or who are even still looking for admission, do you even think they should bother going to the university at all, or should they just put in for professional certifications and just start their life? And do you, if they decide to do that, do you think it could come back to bite them in the future?
If people decide not to go to school?
Yes, if they decide not to take a first degree and they just put in for professional certifications in programming and what have you.
Okay, so if they're very good at, the digital skills that they opted for, it will never affect them. Do you understand?
Okay.
Well, Nigeria could be a little backward sometimes. Do you understand? But I feel like in 5-10 years, a lot of these things will have changed, because at the end of the day, people are looking. If you think about, what businesses are about offering value. Do you understand? It's not really the certificate was just a way that you used to like screen candidates at the time. Like, oh, if he has gone to school, that means he has been trained. Do you understand? But the problem is that the educational system right now is even broken. You know, you are really taught how to memorize and pass tests than actually, you know, create value and solve problems. And what's the test going to do for me as an entrepreneur, as a business owner? You know, you can pass a test, but you can't solve a problem. You know, you can't offer any value to my customers. You can't make them happy if they're angry. Do you understand? You can't do anything that they can't do for themselves. So I don't need you. But then the people that I do need are people that have skills that nobody else has. People that have skills that can solve my customers' problems. And I don't care where you got those skills from, whether you got them from the University of the world or you learned them on your phone, as long as you can offer those skills, you know, and you are one of the only people that can offer it, I'm hiring you, you know, because you can put money in my pocket, and that's it. So, but I'll advise, you know, right now, do both. Go to school and learn the skills on the side. That way, you know, because the market is still growing, you know, it's not, how will I say, it's not mainstream yet for you not to have a degree, you know, but if you can go to school and learn the degrees on the side, you find out that before you even finish school, you are able to offer services to people, and you would realize, you know, what the importance is of these skills that you've learned as opposed to your university degree.
Absolutely, absolutely. Okay, thank you. We have a few questions here. So there's a question here from Oluremi. I think you've taken some of them. But Peter is asking, Peter says, what are the digital skills a communication graduate can leverage on? Especially
actually, I already answered that.
Okay, oh yes, you did. Okay, Quadri Balogun, as a fresh graduate, what are the digital skills an administrator can leverage on?
What do you mean by administrator?
Okay, Quadri, do you want to unmute and ask your question? Hello? Yes, Quadri, go ahead. You can ask your question.
Yeah, I mean, as an administrative personnel, what are the digital skills an administrative personnel can leverage on?
When you say administrative personnel, what do you mean?
Exactly.
Office secretary, office managers.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, office secretaries, office managers. What is an office secretary's job anyway? It's like
it's clerical.
Information.
It's like
information. So there's actually something like database management can help you. You know, if you're able to organize data, you know, with of course without like writing them down or using basic tools like Excel. You know, you're able to query data easily. So for example, maybe people that visit the office, you've been storing it somewhere, and then you need to find out, oh, who came to the office in 2018, June 12, and then you just, you know, query that in your SQL. You're easily able to find it instead of having to go through like files. You know how you get into a company, the reception, you have to fill one book, right? You know, name, email, phone number, address. Most times those books are never used, they're just thrown away. But if you were actually using data management to save all those things, you can actually get a ton of useful information from, you know, the data that you've collated. So for secretarial people, I think, you know, data management, data administration, using tools like SQL Server, Oracle, can help you. And I'm sure that there are even like software that have been created for things like that. So, you know, what I can do for you is I can do a little research for you, and I don't know, Tola, how do we get information across to?
If you can share your email address. If you can drop your email address in the chat box, and then we can get that across to Leye, and he can share the information with you.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. So should I go on, or do we have more questions?
Yes, so Mo Peter here has a comment more like, Mo is saying, you have opened my eyes to the possibilities of digital skills and knowledge. Thank you, sir. Please, will you recommend sites where one can learn a bit of these skills?
We'll get there. It's in my presentation.
Okay, so I think you should go ahead, please.
Okay, cool. I think it's even the next slide. Okay, I wanted to talk about the Internet of Things. So, you know, before, the internet was just on your computer. You know, the only way you could access the internet was if you went to a cyber cafe, or if you were privileged to have a computer at home, and then, you know, they give you dial-up internet, and then, you know, you have to browse. But then later, you know, smartphones we were able to access the internet on our phone. And a lot of people feel that those are the only ways that you can access the internet now, but it's not even the future. Right now, there's something called the Internet of Things, which means that any device, you know, could have internet connection, and you could communicate with it. And, you know, of course, you have TVs now. Of course, everybody watches Netflix, YouTube. I mean, I can't remember the last time I paid for DSTV, because DSTV shows me what they want to show me. I decide what I want to watch with my smart TV. I say, oh, you know what, I want to learn how to cook something. So I go to YouTube on my TV and I search, oh, how to make amala and gbegiri. Do you understand? That's Internet of Things. That's a smart device. There are smart homes now where, you know, you go into your house and your house knows the temperature outside, and it adjusts the temperature so that if it's too sunny outside, the AC is cool, or if it's too cool outside, there's a heater on. It adjusts your lights, you know, to how you want it. And basically, you know, you have things like home devices like Alexa that you can talk to, oh, play me this song, or you can ask questions. So you have cars like Tesla, you know, that are connected to the internet. You can play games on it. It's basic. So in the next, you know, few years, 5 years, 10 years, every device, you know, that is electronic is going to be connected to the internet. And that's where skills like Internet of Things, artificial intelligence come in. You know, you could actually decide today that you want to specialize in smart houses. You know, these devices are available, you know, online. There are courses online from IBM and Amazon that you can learn how to, you know, be a professional at, you know, equipping houses to be smart, you know, where your curtains open automatically, you know, your food is warmed to the right temperature because, you know, you've already programmed it that, oh, this is how hot I want my food, or this is how cold I want my juice, and stuff like that. So for me, the Internet of Things is really like the future of digital skills, and every single thing that we interface with is going to be digital led. And, you know, because all these devices are already collecting your information anyway, you know, they know where you go. I mean, if you have Google Maps on your phone, I think I saw Google sent me like a report over how many places I went to last month, especially because of COVID and everything. So in fact, it was a surprise to me that, oh, I didn't even really go out. I only went to 5 places in 1 month. You know, like, oh, office, store, restaurants, back, you know, and the way these devices work, you carry them around you, they understand you, and they're even better at providing, you know, custom services to you than human beings who don't pay attention to you. So I think that's where, you know, our minds should be when it comes to digital. It's not really only about computers or phones. It's just about making life easier, making things faster, providing value, you know, and finding shortcuts to, you know, previously hard things. That's what the internet is about, and that's what digital skills are about. It's really about finding solutions. Like, how can I make this thing easier for you? You know, why do we have to? In fact, this whole COVID thing has been such a blessing because, you know, I don't need to go to clients' offices anymore. I don't need to be in traffic. Why can't we just be on Zoom and talk? I can share my screen with you. The same proposal that I was going to show you by coming there, I can show you right here. I don't have to waste fuel. I don't have to drive. I don't have to yell at an Okada guy that hit my car. So it's basically about, making things easier. And, that's how we need to think about digital skills. What can I learn that can make other people's lives easier? Because people will pay you for convenience. And that's what, the world is really all about. So yeah, I said businesses all over the world have come a long way from sending letters by post. Remember when, well, I don't know how old you guys are, but you might not remember when people used to write letters. Back in the day, if you were a business, if you wanted to send, a message to another business that you are working with, you will actually write a letter, maybe by hand or by typewriter, put it in an envelope. Somebody will take it to the post office, they'll buy stamp, write the address on it, and somebody will now physically take it. They'll drive your message, from Lagos to Kaduna, and then they'll now want to give the person will not be at home because it doesn't have a phone, and the message will be lost. But now you can easily send a text, an email, and that same message will get there in seconds. Meanwhile, you'll have gotten there in maybe weeks or months, and basically it's, technology and digital skills that have removed these barriers. So I'm saying businesses have come a long way from doing that to, sending emails or having meetings via Zoom or sharing documents via Google Drive. So instead of me posting my message, I could take tons and tons of documents and share it with you via Google Drive or via OneDrive. So every innovative business now needs skilled individuals that can make use of these tools. There are so many tools available, and there's so much hardware like devices that are available that makes business and life easy. But then who is going to use them? Who is going to help us, make the best of these tools? Who's going to help us make the best use of this hardware? There's people like you, but then how would you do that if you don't know how to? And that's why I'm here. So these websites or these platforms are just a few of hundreds of platforms where you can find or where you can learn digital skills, mostly for free. I repeated EDX twice here. You can replace EDX with Lynda. Lynda is spelled Lynda. It's like a part of LinkedIn, and there are so many more. So you have EDX. A lot of these courses they ask you to pay for them, but if you really look deeply, there are even the ones that they ask you to pay for, you can apply for a scholarship, and most times they will give it to you, and you'll actually be able to learn for free. And on platforms like EDX, Coursera, you can actually learn courses that are available in schools like Harvard, Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Cambridge, and the Ivy League schools of the world, schools that people pay $80,000-$100,000 to attend. You are able to learn the same thing that they're learning for free. And to keep it a buck with you, almost everything that I've learned, has come from these platforms. If it wasn't from these platforms, then it was probably from some blog post that somebody wrote that I Googled. And I have been able to turn it into, something that feeds me and a whole bunch of other people. So I feel like if, you and, millions of other Nigerians did that, it would, provide more value, more income for all of us than, all the schools put together combined, because those people, those institutions, they're not looking very effective these days, because what's the point if you go to school for 4 years, graduate, and then you are still asking, how you're going to survive, or, how you're going to make money. So what were you really taught in the first place? You need to ask yourself that question. Schools should teach you how to empower yourself. Schools should teach you how to provide value. You shouldn't graduate and then be looking. I mean, it's good to look for a job, do you understand? But then it should be that once you graduate, you have skills that, these jobs are looking for. They're like, please, you've graduated, please quickly come and join us. But then you're now looking at your CV that, what does this person even have to offer? Say, okay, studied mass comm, who cares? Like, we have 5,000 people that study mass comm just like you. How are you different? What can you really do for us? So on these platforms, these are places where you can learn things that most people don't know. All those skills that I've spoken to you about, you can learn them here. Some of them are paid, some of them are free. But like I said, you can apply for scholarships on most of these platforms and they'll give you access. So for that person that asked, check out any of these ones. My favorite are actually Coursera. Coursera has a mobile app. I think EDX has as well. I'm currently learning something about venture capital. So these are places that you can actually reinvent yourself. In 1 year, you are a totally different person with totally different skills. And people are wondering, how did he learn that? I own a digital agency. Did I go to school for it? No. Just basically things that I learned in my free time on these platforms. And I hope that, more Nigerians take advantage of this, of these opportunities. And that's why in my first slide, I said that, we don't have any excuse not to learn things or not to be able to provide value, because everything that you ever needed, everything, and I mean everything, is available at your disposal. So it's really up to you. As long as you have a phone, and some internet access, try and, get on these platforms and learn. Stop using you can use your data for Instagram too, because you need to relax, but try and prioritize. Do you understand? Try and, yeah, my time is up. But yeah, try and prioritize, try and learn something new. So yeah, this is basically preparing yourself for employability, right? Imagine that you picked up a skill, you learned content marketing or you learned website design. Look for internships, right? Don't look for money. Look for top 5, companies that do web design or that do content marketing. Write to them specifically, with your CV. And apart from your CV, show your portfolio. Oh, I've done this. This is what I've done, and it should be available online. Recently, some people stop by the office to drop printed CVs, and I just laugh. Like, if you have to do that, I don't want you in my company. You could have easily sent an email with everything that you need that you're carrying your printed CV about in 2020. You're a joker. Anyway, apply for internships and look to work for free, because the way that you gain experience. So how there's this joke about, vacancies that say they're looking for 10 years experience. Meanwhile, the person just graduated. So how do you get this experience? It's through internships. People would hire you as an intern if they feel that you have done some work on your own, learning certain things that they do in that company, and you have some skin in the game. You have a track record. Oh, I've done this course, and apart from doing this course, I worked on this project on my own in my personal time, and that's where that personal projects comes in. Number 2, and I say number 3, create a portfolio. So if you learned SEO, show, oh, I've worked on these 3 websites and I've gotten them from page 5 to page 3. So maybe if I join your company, you guys can teach me how to get it from page 3 to page 1. So if you show what you've done, I'd rather see what you've done than actually even see your CV. Sadly, because most of those resumes is the same thing that is inside. But then thankfully, Jide has told us how to, differentiate. But then if you can add a portfolio to it, it will work. And I say work for free. That's for the very beginning, because once you now have experience, you have something to offer, because people talk a big game. They just talk to talk. They can't walk to walk. It's easy to talk, oh, I can do this, I can do that. What have you done? Show me. Don't tell me. Thought leadership. It's good to be able to Google you and find something about you, something that you've written, something that you've done. So while you are learning these things, try and talk about it. People are usually afraid that I just started, I don't know anything, I can't talk. It's not true. And that's why I say, okay, you can even document your journey. You can start by saying, oh, I just started learning how to code. This is the first thing I built. Do you understand? It's not perfect, but you guys take a look at it, critique it for me, make comments. If I Google you and I see all that you've done, I'll know that, oh, this person has a deep interest in learning. I would like this person to join my team. You're not really looking to work just for money, but there are some people that you ask them, what kind of job that do you want? They'll just be like, anyone that pays at least. And I'm like, look, bro, I don't want you because you don't have
Anyone.
you don't have
Job.
any focus. You know, you don't have any interest. You know, you're just looking for money, and after a while, you're going to get tired because you know you're used to that money that we're paying you now, and you just want to be getting paid for free. So I feel like this summarizes it.
Thank you so much,
and
Leah.
if you have any questions, you can drop them in the chat, and I'll answer them for the next 5 minutes.
Whoa. I have my notes here. Thank you so much, Leah, for an amazing job. Job well done. Thank you so much. Please drop a round of applause in the chat box for Leah if you have been able to gather anything from all that he has shared. I picked quite a number of salient points from Leah. First of all, I couldn't miss the fact that Leah said that he's self-taught. You know, one of the things that I think that today's generation need to do is you need to put your money where your mouth is. You need to begin to invest in self-development. Our institutions have failed us, the schools have failed us, but that's not an excuse to remain a failure or to be a failure. Your world is in your hands, your life is in your hands, and what are you going to do about it? It's important that we begin to make our time to learn things on our own. If you have to pay, pay. Free trainings are fantastic, they're good for budget reasons, but there's nothing wrong with putting some money into learning. I would have loved to do a recap of everything that we have covered today, from Babajide's session to Leah's session, but we're really short on time. But a few key things, nuggets that I'll just like to drop before I bring in Cynthia, is that you need to understand that no employer is going to employ you and pay you for the time that you spend in the office. They are paying you for the problems that you solve. The reason why you're being hired is to solve problems, to bring value. That's why you're being paid, and not because you work 8 to 5 or 8 to 6. So the question you need to ask yourself is, when I'm going out and I'm launching out a job, what value am I taking with me? When you apply for a job, also, please don't go with a mentality of they want to help you. You cannot go with a defeatist mentality. You are actually going there to solve a problem for them, and you have to carry yourself in that manner. You are a problem solver. And if you have taken yourself through preparing for the interview, studying the company, understanding what is happening there, then you are going in to go and provide solutions to their problems. So you don't go into an interview begging, please just consider me. I have 3 children to feed. I have 3 wives to take care of. No. You want to know what their problem is, and you're going in to solve those problems. Maximize your time. Ladies and gentlemen, I love Netflix, but you know what? Netflix does not pay my bills. I love movies, I love cartoons, but they don't pay my bills. It's good, I have nothing against Netflix, but you need to prioritize. What do you do with your time? When universities are on strike, what do? Do you go from one friend's house to the other? Do you go and attach yourself to an office, even if you have to work free of charge? Do you go and intern somewhere? Because at the end of the day, as a fresh graduate, those are the only experiences you have to put in your resume. While you are in school, take part in the department's politics. You know, do something for student union, do something in your faculty. And at the end of the day, you're able to show that you actually have strength in managing people. You've done this and you've done that before. So don't graduate school without having some form of experience managing people one way or the other. And finally, I'll just leave it at this point so that we can bring in Cynthia. Document what you do, no matter how small it is. Were you a general secretary in your fellowship? Were you the course rep in your class? Document what you do. And when you intern, document the things that you experienced. Did you work in a team to work on a project? When you worked in that team, what were the specific things that you did? All of those things are going to build up into your portfolio or your resume at the end of the day. And finally, please get yourself a guide. There are tons and tons of people on LinkedIn who are already doing things that you would like to do. Get yourself connected with them, ask questions, and let them show you the way. There's no point going through the challenges that they went through. You can learn from their mistakes, and they can show you the way. And just to wrap it up, we have quite a number of questions which we're going to share with the facilitators, and they will email the responses to you. My name remains Tola Arowa. A little bit about myself. I didn't get to introduce myself at the beginning. I work with Media Reach OMD as the HR manager. with over 12 years work experience in HR as a generalist. And immediately now, I'll just bring in Cynthia. Cynthia is with African Gist, and she's going to just wrap up this session. Cynthia, are you there? Over to you, please.
Yes, I'm here. Okay, can you all see me? Hello, can you all see me?
Yes, we can.
Okay,
Yes, we
great.
can.
Thank you so much, Babajide and Leye, for that session. I think we can all agree that it was very, very useful. We learned so much. We had so many questions. And before we leave, for those who joined us in the middle, I would like to introduce African Gist. So basically, this is what we do. At African Gist, we really believe that today the youth needs to learn more and more digital skills, to be aware of what's happening, what's needed to be done in order to remain relevant for the markets at the international level, but also at the local level. I think the current pandemic has taught us that digital skills are very important. Today, I think a lot of businesses will change the way they think when they look for candidates, the kind of skills they are looking for in any continent. So I I would like to thank you, Leye and Babajide, for this amazing session. I think we all learned so much. What we do as African Gist is at African Gist that we help young creatives, professional and entrepreneurs to reach their professional goals through business and digital coaching. Basically, if you have a business idea, or if you want to scale up your game at work, we actually help you by training you to learn what's the next digital skills you should master. How do you present yourself at interviews, and so on and so forth. We've been active for the past 3 years, and we've been training. We've trained up to like a bit more than 200 young professionals in Europe and Africa, and we really hope that you will keep following us on social media. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn as well. Join our community, be part of our community, so you can learn from our network of mentors and of professionals. I would like to thank Change 360 Network for this first collaboration, and there are many more things to come in the future. So stay tuned, yes, and don't hesitate to share your email address with us so we can contact you for other online events.
Thank you very much, Cynthia. That was succinctly put. To wrap up the event, wow. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you.
Okay, thank you. I thought I lost the connection. Okay, Habib, I'll just call on Change 360 Network to give the closing remark, and then we can call it a day.
Okay, thanks, Tola, for that. I'm sure we all had a very wonderful and awesome experience. Yeah, that's on behalf of everyone, the panelists, Leye Makanjuola, Babajide Tella, and as well as African Gist, and of course, you, Tola, as well, for taking us through this session. We are Change 360. Of course, a lot of you know us, and we are happy to partner with African Gist to deliver this awesome session with you. As you're well aware, basically what we do is we're just a non-profit organization, and we're driven by young progressive Nigerians. Our aim is to help young Nigerians, develop and discover their leadership potentials. And one way that we think we can do that is by exposing us to various situations that we find ourselves in the world, and which of course is one of them now, job hunt, and as well as getting ourselves prepared for the job seeking out there. And of course, we also provide a platform for young people to express their leadership skills. And in the course of this year, since the COVID-19 pandemic struck, we've had series of events ranging from topical issues such as discourse on sexual assault, societal values, roles of youth, to investment opportunities available to young persons, and of course, discussions on Nigerian Democracy Day. So there are a lot of things that we have done as a Chain 360. But our major aim is developing leaders, because in the world today, we discover that we need leaders who really know what leadership means. And one way by which we can do that is being a part of that change that we need, hence the name Change 360. And our long-term vision is to be #1 engaging leadership platform in Africa and eventually the world. So be prepared, we are going to take over the world very soon. And of course, for those of you in Nigeria, in Lagos especially, we want you to be very excited, because this is not the last you hear from us. We have an event planned for October and several others that are coming soon. So just be prepared, and make sure you follow us on all our social media platforms at Chain360. And if you have any feedback you want to give to us, you can send us a mail at Chain360, C360network@gmail.com. And of course, this recording is going to be made available on our YouTube channel at Change 360 Network. So make sure you follow us on the YouTube and then click the subscribe button, because you are going to be seeing a lot and lots more of programs and events coming up from us. So once again, thank you for being a part of this event today, and we hope to engage with you more in the future. Thank you all.
Okay, thank you very much, Deji. So ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to an end of this session today. Thank you so much for your time. For everyone who stayed from the beginning till this moment, thank you. Have a pleasant evening and see you again soon. Please look out for our social media handles, and then so that you can be part of the next session that'll be coming up. Until then, please stay safe and have a very good evening. Thank you.
Okay, I think we are just the ones left.
Hello.
Hello.
Okay. I don't know his favor.
Yeah, Favor is a part of the team.
Ah.
Okay. Babajide, you're on mute. Can't hear you.